Hi there. As you know, the Church of Nowhere holds meditation to be one of its pillars, and meditation is supposed to liberate your mind, or at least just relax your mind fleetingly, or for a little bit anyway. Um, but I think there's a certain amount of preparation you can do for meditation. You can change the way that you are living, because the way that you're living at the moment is pretty damn stupid and counterproductive, and certainly counter mind liberation. You're not ever going to find mind liberation by carrying on living the way you are. So here's the ABC. We've got here two boxes. One box is a sort of do nots, and the other box is do. Okay, so we have a positive here, if you like, and we have a negative here. And the negatives, like the do nots, it's just ABC. It's very simple. Do not have ambition, avarice, do not breed, do not consume. So give up being a consumer of products and services. That's the most important thing. Even or if you can't do that, simply buy only what you really need and what is a priority for you in your life at the moment. And that may change, of course. So over time. And you may say to me, well, I don't know what I need. I'm led by the market. And that's true to an extent, which is why we are in the matrix that we are, because we don't actually know what it is we do need until we need it. And they actually have everything. You see, the thing about what you should know about manufacturing is that they have all the solutions. All right, you name a problem and they have a solution for it. But that's not going to make you money. What's going to make you money is have partial solutions to problems, and then you sell those partial solutions and you upgrade, either free upgrades or as promised, or you people have to pay for upgrades, which is usually the case. And so you get a bit of the solution, but you don't get a whole of the solution. I mean, it's like they know how to generate electricity forever, okay, but it doesn't pay them to provide that one-time solution to the problem of energy deficiency and carbon footprint reduction. So what they have to do is that they have to provide part solutions, and they're very good at doing that. And of course, you can hardly blame them for doing that because, that's how business makes its money. It makes its money by having returning customers because they provide you with an income. So I'm not moaning about this necessarily. I'm not saying it's like a bad, evil conspiracy. I'm just saying that it's a tendency, which has to be because business is not a charity. It's in the business of making money, making vast profits as well. But there's no good making little profit. You have to make big profits. Okay, you have to make a minimum of 60% profit on everything that you do. Okay, otherwise you're just not going to survive, especially with the competition. But we don't have to feed into this matrix of consumption. We really can become conscious consumers and only get those products and services which we actually need. And if we decide that we really don't need them because we're simplifying our life, we're living a simpler life without the assistance of technology, then you can do without the things that you thought you needed in any case. So the towards principle would initiate or start a tendency towards you reducing your consumption rate, firstly, and then your desire to consume at all. So you really are going to recycle everything that you have and use it again. Try and keep things going. There's actually, the keeping an old car going is actually less is actually less consuming and uses less carbon puts less carbon into the atmosphere than a new car, than buying new cars every 3 years. But of course, they've got around this now because they're going to up and up and up the road tax on all old cars to run you out of the road because they want you to get brand new electric cars. But brand new electric cars, they're actually going to create more carbon in the atmosphere, not less. So you see, the thing about it is it's more complicated than they like to let. But there we go. That's the one consumption. You can recycle everything in your life, use it again, repair it, mend it if you can. Bearing in mind, of course, that built-in obsolescence is a principle in business that we all know about, but don't actually take much notice of. It seems to me. I certainly don't. I don't realise it's going on, and I'm quite happy to throw stuff out and throw stuff away instead of sort of mending it. I know that for myself, really. Of course, anti-natalism is we don't breed. We've been over this quite a bit, really, on this channel. And there's other channels out there called anti-natalist channels that anti-natalist outreach. Have a look at their material as well. And then ambition. This is where it gets interesting. Avarice, you want to rule the world. It's not going to happen. Ambition, you're going to want to better yourself and develop yourself and make yourself come to the full potential of yourself. Blah, 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 all complete blah and BS. I can tell you that for nothing. See, this is how society is organised. Never mind democracy, never mind meritocracy, never mind all the things that the good that we would. This is the actual matrix. You have at the top here an elite, okay? They have come by their money through various criminal, devious means, through fiat, which means force, through armed force, through conquest. It's old money. It's money that's been around for hundreds of years, accruing massive interest in various Swiss bank accounts. And they are the elite, okay? They are the people at the top. They are the movers and shakers of society. They are the people with the massive amounts of money. And once you've got money, money is energy. And once you have a huge amount of money, you have a huge amount of energy and you can do anything that you want to do. And they are on a different planet to us, okay? I mean, it's all relative. I've known people that gone to Egypt to work in Egypt from the West. They had so much money, they had to put it in a drawer. They couldn't even spend the amount of money that they had every week. Compared to the people around them who had literally about $70 a week, $70 a year, and were living in absolute poverty. And you used to have to go out every night and go to the 5-star restaurants every day, and you still couldn't spend the money that you had accumulating in your drawer because your wages were just so high that there is no way that you could spend all that money, and yet all the people starving around you, it's crazy like. But the elite have that, and they don't mind people starving. I mean, they don't mind being the elite. They live in a liberal glass house where people don't throw stones at each other in the elite because, the old adage, don't if you live in glass houses, don't throw stones. So they're all pretty polite and nice to each other. They all network. And this is the elite. It's not an evil conspiracy. It's just something which has happened, something which always arises. You always get an elite out of the anarchist group or communist group or whatever. You always get an elite. And in North Korea, that they don't blush about it. The elite is the great leader and his cohorts and his minions. And he doesn't even he doesn't apologize for it, really. In fact, he admires people like Adolf Hitler and the head of this pyramid, this great pyramid. So this is all underneath the elite, which are in a different world. You get what they call social stratification. This is where you have class, okay, and we're supposed to live in a classless society. Absolute toss, of course. Here's the upper classes here, the middle classes are there, and we have down here. That's you and me, underclass. All right, because I wouldn't be making this video if I wasn't one of the underclass, the great unwashed. the crusties, the failures, the wasters, whatever, the people that should be put down, obviously, because we're so totally failure in life, you know. And social stratification exists in many different forms. Even in Korea, you know, there's a secret formula about people's names, which means that they come from a higher class than you. Everybody knows it. It's supposed to be meritocracy and democracy in South Korea. Absolute rubbish. It isn't at all. It's completely class-ridden, caste-ridden, actually. Not just class, but caste. So because people marry only within their own class and only within their own name class, you see. Class is designated by the name that you have, and everybody in South Korea knows this, all right, and believes in it. So you have social stratification, and then you have, well, such meritocracy as there is a greasy pole. And you see people going up in the world, okay, going up the ladder, and they go down the snake, okay. So every dog has its day, and he goes down the snake, and is spat out at the bottom of the underclass if he's lucky. If he's unlucky, he'll become a junkie or a cokehead and just die of some overdose of some drug because of the stress of going up the ladder and worrying about the fact you're going to go down again. But you know you are going to go down again, so you just have to take loads of drugs in order to become immune to the pain of failure. So what about the under? So these are the don'ts. Okay, don't have ambition. Don't go up that greasy pole. Don't breed, and don't consume. Okay. So what about the positive side? This involves becoming a failure, becoming a waste of space, slack off. Okay. Be a social parasite. Be on welfare. It doesn't matter if you can learn to live on welfare. And they only give you enough welfare to keep you literally alive. But if you can live an ascetic life on welfare, there's absolutely no reason to wish for anything else. Meditate. If you're meditating, you don't need to have anything in life. You don't need to consume. You don't need to breed. You don't need to have ambition. Now, I find that personally, I find this incredibly difficult because I have huge ambition, huge libido, and I love to consume, especially the narcotic called white processed sugar. I love to consume that. And I hate the idea of being a failure and a waste of space, and I hate slacking off, and I hate the thought of being a social parasite. So I have a great deal to work on as far as this. I have so much frustration and so much anger. And people say, why don't you find the hero in yourself? And why don't you, all this Tai Lopez comes up, and I started off with life with $47, and look at me now, I'm a multimillionaire. Well, we all know about Tai Lopez. We shan't go in that direction. But Tai Lopez is not one of the elite. Okay, if you're born into the elite, then you have everything given to you on a silver platter anyway. Okay, you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth, as the saying goes, and that's just it. That's just a given. And every society, whether we're talking about aristocracy or communist elite, you have an elite. Okay, and if you're born into that elite, you have luck. And if you're not, you don't have. You're unlucky because you have to go up and down the greasy pole, trying desperately to find your place in society, and being totally mega stressed out about it. Whereas if you just slacked off and became the underclass and accepted and didn't have ambition and didn't want to breed and didn't want to consume, how much easier and wonderful your life would be. But you'd have to go within or go without, as the saying goes. And I personally find this really, really difficult. I suppose I'm here on this earth, nearly 60 years old, and I still haven't learnt my lesson. I still am consumed with ambition in many, many different directions. I'm consumed with a sense of failure, that I'm a total waste of space, and of course, who defines these things? Who defines what is a failure? Who defines what is a waste of space? Who defines what's a social parasite? Who defines welfare payments. I mean, what is a welfare payment? It could be for anything, you know. Um, but apparently, all people on welfare should be put down, according to the Conservative Party of the UK, which is sort of social Darwinism and all. And it's the same in the USA. If you're on welfare, you're a loser and a failure, and you should be put down. But really, in the Bible, it says, be in the world, but not of the world. This is being of the world, going up this greasy pole. This is of the world, being part of the elite. This is being in the world, being the underclass. Okay, you can't escape being in the world except if you commit suicide, which you can do more harm than good if you do. By the way, because people maybe depend on your existence for other things other than money. So think about that. Suicide can be a very selfish, cowardly thing to do. Because there are people that want you to be alive, even if you don't want to be alive. So think about that. But it probably doesn't help that to think that, really. It doesn't even help to say that, actually. It's a waste of time saying that. People who are suicidal just say, I don't care anyway. But they're suicidal because they're riddled with their ambition. You have to let go of ambition. You have to let go of avarice, which is desire to have everything. Get rid of competition in your soul. Get rid of the desire to breed. Get rid of the desire to consume. I mean, people consume because they're consumed with ambition. They're consumed with a desire to keep up with the Joneses, for example, or to exceed the Joneses. They want to win the X Factor, and everybody lines up to win the X Factor, but only one person's going to win the X Factor, all right? And they're going to be people that are already brilliant, okay? That already can sing, basically. I mean, as Simon says, who told you could sing? You've been singing for 20 years. Well, that's all right for bar mitzvahs and weddings. You're a wedding singer. That means you're no bloody good. Sorry. But you see people going up the greasy pole and the X Factor, all hoping to take that million pound jackpot. Not going to happen because the people that win that jackpot already in the elite. They're already part of the musical elite. And you're going to be one of the 12 disciples of the X Factor, right? And you're going to shine for a little bit. You're going to get a contract. You're going to get a funny contract because you're a bit of a joke. You're going to last for some time and then you'll go down. Okay, you'll go down and you'll be waiting tables again. What is it about? But the elite don't like this video because the elite are sucking the energy from the greasy pole to an extent. I know they have old money, but they want new money, and the new money comes to them from the people who are on the greasy pole, from the meritocracy that's supporting the oligarchy. Okay, look those words up, and it's all maintained through democracy or the pretense of democracy, but people don't even know what democracy actually means, and yet they still trumpet like saying, "Oh, we're democratic." You don't even know what democratic means, mate. Okay, nobody does. It's like justice. What is justice? Nobody knows what justice is. I mean, I'm not saying it's your fault you don't know, because nobody knows. Okay, nobody knows what democracy is. Nobody knows what justice is. Nobody knows what beauty is. Plato tried to define it, failed totally and utterly. So I hope that you can meditate on all these words that I've presented here, and these strange doodlings and patterns, which I don't think help at all. You can come to mind liberation, not through going up greasy pole, not through trying to be part of this pyramid of power, the top of which you'll never reach ever in your lifetime unless you're born into it. And really, what's the point when you're in the underclass? You're sort of separated off from the power grid, as it were. You couldn't be better off, really. You couldn't be better off. But see, the thing about it is the people that joined the peace convoy in the 1980s in the UK, they were full of ambition. I mean, they sat in the bedsits, in Bristol and Manchester and Birmingham, and they couldn't stand it. That's why they all joined the peace convoy. That's why they went to West Cork, because they wanted to make something of themselves. I mean, a lot of them wanted to come off heroin, okay, which is fair enough. But a lot of them just had this ambition. They had this, you know, the good life. They wanted to be the good. They wanted to be somebody, you know. They wanted to be somebody. And a lot of them went back and lived. They now live in Brighton, where they're being somebody, being green politicians or whatever, or gay politicians or whatever. So you see, ambition and the desire to consume and the desire to breed, very, 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 very strong social powers. And it takes a lot of mind liberation to liberate yourself from these things. It takes a lot of meditation. It takes a lot of chilling out. It takes a lot of remembering this pattern. You've got to sort of, you've got to listen to my voice every day, kind of thing, because you forget. I certainly forget. I mean, I just find myself going back into the ABC of slavery all the time, all the time. You know, I can't, you know, but one day I hope that I will really liberate myself from this ambition, breeding and consumption desire. I will hope to liberate myself from it. And I will say to myself, you know, I am a waste of space. I am slacking off. I am a social parasite, you know. I don't have a future. I don't have I don't have life insurance. Okay, I don't have medical insurance either. You know, I am a failure in life, and guess what? It's not the end of the world. It's the beginning of a completely new one.